Yet another week goes by, and it's another week of me saying I will have the intro ready for the Skeleton Crew aftershows. And here I am with no intro. Hi, I'm Eli, and welcome back to our Skeleton Crew aftershow here on the Star Wars in the Galaxy YouTube channel. So I, of course, watched the 4th episode. Can't say I remember no Attin from Skeleton Crew this evening, and we're here to talk about it. First, let me put that StreamYard there right in the chat, and I'm going to pin that sucker of a comment just to that people see it. Yeah, no, I like this episode. A lot. Overall, first of all, I love this episode of Andor. And I only mean that slightly jokingly, because I did feel like this felt like an episode of Andor a little bit in the middle. And I know I've made my jokes about it, blah, 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 Andor, blah, 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 not for me. You can say whatever you want. But no, I was excited, as everybody else was, for the Daniels to make their debut with Star Wars this week. I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought it was a beautiful story, and I really appreciate what their directorial vision brought to it. And I was very interested to see how they handled this episode, which we knew was going to be a more Neil-centric episode. At least I knew that beforehand. So I was very interested to see that. I gotta say, just right off the bat, one more thing before I bring our first guest in. I love this gimmick. The fact that all of the planets that were lost had on them. Of course, we have Attin, which is where their home is. Akron, where this episode takes place. I didn't write down any of the other ones, but I literally just burst out into laughter as I heard that all of the other ones also began with that. This is a very funny way of carrying this bit. I really appreciate it. And I think it's very funny. But enough about what I think. Let's bring on our first guest. Honest to Claude, from the Honest to Claude podcast, we have our friend Eric Elliott here yet again.
Yep, Eric, Honest to Claude. Don't at me.
Yeah, what do you think about this episode so far?
This is definitely my least favorite episode, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I'll land there too, probably.
Yeah, like there's individual aspects that I think pretty fascinating, or practically everything with Neil I really do enjoy. But it doesn't have like the same kind of impact that some of the previous episodes, especially the first one. To me, the first episode still the high watermark of the show so far.
Yeah, I think I do like that we're getting into this very clear mission, like Planet of the Week, Mission of the Week, whatever you want to call it, structure for the show, which I thought was going to happen after we had those first 2 episodes really establishing our boundaries. But yeah, I thought that this episode, however interesting it was, I think my overall interest in the episode kind of just like went quite a bit down once I heard, oh yeah, we don't really talk to any other planets. We're just mostly like this isolated conflict. I'm like, oh, well, okay.
I think one of the biggest knocks against this episode, and this is the first episode where it felt less like a family show, felt more like a kids show.
Interesting, because I thought the stuff with the war between the Troik and the Hatton, or Hatton, or Hodden, I forget how you say it. Hodden, I think it's Hodden, mercenaries, like, as I alluded to in my intro for this show, they felt very, again, I'm not going to say they're exactly like Andor or anything like that, but like they felt very much in that tone of, okay, this is boots on the ground, this is a political and social revolution happening here. On a smaller scale, but like, there was like, I don't know, maybe I don't know what it was. I think that maybe
for Andor, but like diet version.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it was exactly like Andor or anything like that. I'm just yeah, but I don't know. Maybe that staved it off a little bit for me from feeling like it was like a kids show. But
Yeah,
um,
like there's a Star Wars kids book that I really do enjoy. Like it is there to like introduce like the each saga of the movies to the kids, right? And you read it to
yeah,
them. And there's a moment in the book where it says, "Oh yeah, the inhabitants of Jakku fought back," but it does not mention any of the death. That's kind of how it felt. It's like, uh, and even like in the Star Wars Lego game, like instead of having blood on, Finn's helmet, it's cake. That's kind of how it felt.
yeah.
It's just like, okay, we're producing something that is dark, but we're doing it in a very much softer way.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. I will just point out that that was a big ass weapon that Wim was holding, like
Mhm.
very real looking cannon weapon that Wim was holding, and
Yeah,
of course we don't ever see them use it, and there's no actual battle at the end because John. I legitimately thought, oh, at the end they had me tricked, which I know is what they're trying to do with John in this show. I'm like, okay, so Jod managed to go in there. Maybe he is a Jedi. Maybe he like not a Jedi, but like maybe he has that mindset. Maybe he mediated the conflict between the Houghton and the Troik. And then he was like, "No, I just stole from you and paid them off." I'm like, "Okay, no, that makes more sense. That makes way more sense." uh, so they did fool me with that, but yeah, I'm trying to think
I mean, I
where.
still believe he is force sensitive. I don't think we don't. I don't think this is a situation like Haja, like some people have speculated. I think
Yeah, no,
I
I
think
think
he is
he's force
okay.
sensitive.
Yeah, I do think he's force sensitive. But I'm starting to think that there's never been a point like in his life where he like was actively a Jedi. I think he's double
Yeah.
dabbled in knowing some things about it. Maybe he's learned some tricks of the trade, but he's never uh, worn a robe. I don't believe
Yeah.
it.
I think you're probably right. There is still an attachment I have to my own pet theory that that John Nana would, or John Nana would, as he's, or Crimson Jack, or whatever name he wants to be called, uh is like the character Fabian Martel from the excellent Star Wars RPG show Ionized Bastards. I will absolutely plug good all remaining systems channel to check it out. Fabian Martel, who, spoiler, is revealed in the 5th episode of that show to be a former Inquisitor.
Mm.
Uh, now, do I think that's happening? No, I don't. I think it gets
Um,
less likely as the weeks go on. I just don't think they'll bring that dark of a tone to this show because
if he like is the former Inquisitor and he's just been acting this entire time, he is in universe the greatest Star Wars actor ever.
absolutely. But like, you have,
Or like
but
move
you're,
aside. What is it? Kanye, move aside.
yeah,
No.
yeah, I
This
know
is the
he's
one.
gone.
This is the acting goat.
John is the greatest actor in the story. I absolutely agree with you. Um, yeah, and I think that this is. I think. Again, as much as I love that theory, I don't think it's true because after seeing the tone that this show is setting, it would be hard to explain. Hey, this guy helped track down and murder all of his former friends and colleagues
Mhm.
to such a young audience.
Yeah.
That would be tricky to incorporate in. They could do it, but it'd be tricky.
Uh, Damn it! I keep. I'm like he was the one that killed Terrace Anuba. That'd be
He killed Terrace Anubis.
he was the one.
Imagine if we get. I'm down just to I'm now just thinking. Imagine we get a flashback with John, like, and Tara Sinube. Like maybe he was his master or something. Wow, my God, Joseph Scrimshaw would flip off the walls. Joseph Scrimshaw would be on top of the freaking world. I would love it too because I love Tara Sinube.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Joseph does love some Terrace in the
Yeah, I agree. Your Peljo. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with it. I saw already some people commenting about the runtime and all that kind of stuff, and I will say I saw some people saying like we needed like a better ending for this. I thought the ending for this episode was fine. What I was really put off by, and even thought I'd skipped past it, I was like, wait, did I skip past the beginning segment where they check back in with the parents? No, I didn't. There was not any of this episode. I am still very much interested in their side of the story. I'm very much interested in still seeing who is this supervisor? What are they doing? And why do they not want anybody to leave any of these planets? Of course, we get some more reveals on the kids' side, obviously, about these planets at the end. But it's still it's still unclear exactly from the parents, like what do the parents know, if any of them know. If any of them would know, it would be Farah, but it's unclear that she knows everything because I don't think she does. It's
so they went into the watchtower, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? It's at vantage point.
Interesting.
Like vantage point at vantage point.
Yeah, no, I think I see where you're going with that. Yeah,
it's just horrible fun.
Yeah, no, I legitimately thought you'd like come up with something about like no, but no, that's funny. But
wait, talk about how Neil has surprisingly has some game as a nice guy. I appreciate it. I think it's cute. That
Yeah.
his sincerity and him wanting peace is what got him a peck on the cheek.
Yeah, no, I thought that I was interested to see how this would be a Neil episode, and I do like that that there is a, I even said out loud when he and Hana were talking about the way their societies were functioning. I said out loud, "Wars not make one great," and I like that they are getting to see, and Wim is actually getting to see. I think this was also it was going on in the background, but I think this was a good episode for Wim as well, where he's starting to realize that the lesson that we were all hoping he would learn soon, which is that the inventors that he thinks he wants are more complicated than he thinks they are. That here we have a society that despite looking exactly like Attin, is completely and utterly different. But that doesn't necessarily mean better. Because there's this huge war raging and children are being dragged into this. I think that's an interesting way of showing what I think, especially KB, I think has already figured out. Fern, I think, is on her way to figuring it out, and so are Neil and I think Neil figured out this episode. Wim and Fern are going to be the last to figure this out.
Your sentence because you were frozen for a bit.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, no. I was going to say I think this episode did a great job with Neil. Neil figured this out this episode. I feel like KB figured this out last episode, that they thought they wanted adventure, and very much this adventure was good for them to have, but they are 100% out of their depth. They have totally no idea what they're dealing with, and you have to have that moment, of course, to ground yourself in the real world. I'm gonna be the umpteenth person to mention George's Star Wars is for 12-year-olds quote. But if you look at that like the larger quote around it, what George was like saying, like this idea of Star Wars as like an allegorical tale of you're going into the world, you're growing up. Here are the things you need to know about how the world works and about how people are. And I think the kids are getting an incredible, very Star Warsy, theme-wise crash course in exactly what that is. I'm trying to think. There was a.
I mean, back in episode 1, they had never seen stars.
Yeah, absolutely. And now they've been on 2 different planets, or 1 planet and 1 moon, I guess. But I am interested. Of course, the exciting reveals I think we got to talk about in this episode are near the end, where they go to the what is it called, like the summit of something like that. I forget. They go to the area where the Acrinians have, or the Troik, I think it's just the Troik, have stored all of their like coordinates for other systems, and we see, of course, all the other planets. And Attin's coordinates mysteriously scratched out or busted out. And then, of course, we get the droid override on SM-33, which reveals that the captain, his former captain, forced him to destroy the coordinates to Attin, and then ordered him to kill anybody who inquired about it, which led to a very, like, I was legitimately frightened. I was for these kids for a few seconds when SM-33's, how should I say? I'll say inhibitor chip was activated, for lack of a better phrase.
Really scared. Like I thought, oh shit, but I was never worried that like. I never really thought one of the kids was gonna like die.
No, I didn't think that we're gonna die, but SM-33 turning against them in such a sudden manner was not something I had really considered, because I thought he was just going to be there like curmudgeonly but like helpful droid assistant.
Like I wouldn't put it like it wasn't that surprising to me, because like he started off a bit antagonistic when they first met him.
That's true. Yeah, no, but
this one didn't seem out of the ballpark. Like, it wasn't like he was like a cinnamon roll of a character when they first met.
No, I wasn't like the crazy surprise, but of course then John manages to shut him off, and the mystery around Attin and why it has been so intentionally forgotten rolls on. And I'm very interested. I get more interested in each week, and I think they do a really great job at dragging out this mystery, at giving us just enough every week to be like, oh, I have more information. I think I'm getting a bigger, we're getting a bigger picture of what could have happened to Attin. But still, we're halfway through the series and we don't really know.
There's only 8 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, but what am I gonna say? I really did like. I meant to look up the name of. I meant to look up the name of what's his face? The general guy.
Remember his name popped up like in.
Yeah, no, I saw it in the credits. I just don't remember it, but I thought he had a cool vibe, and there was absolutely a part of me during the episode that was wondering, like, is this somebody we know? Is this like a
I
former rebel
thought it was gonna
leader?
be like a famous actor. Like I wasn't expecting like someone we know. Like I was going to think to myself like, oh snap, is that Antonio Banderas? I thought that for
Yeah.
a split second. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, I
again,
got
I want Antonio Banderas to play Jackson. That's my
that
fan
that
casting.
that'd be chaotic as all hell. But honestly, we have Jeremy Allen White as Rada, so like
Well,
nothing is impossible these days.
well, my idea was like he would do it in his regular voice. It would be more akin to like a Rocket Raccoon. They just do it, Green Lantern style.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Yeah, no. I'm trying to think. Do you while I recap the episode in my head, is there anything else you want to bring up for this episode?
Um, I do like the aspect of there's butting of heads between Jod and SM-33.
Yeah,
Like he's calling him baby. I thought that was
yeah,
an interesting idea. Like it was nothing that made me laugh. It was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. That's not a bad dynamic. He also forces him against the wall and calls him a thief. Uh,
yeah.
I didn't realize there were some EOBs with antlers or horns. I thought that they were just all bald headed. I guess is that a new wrinkle of continuity for made by this show, or is that something established in Legends?
Yeah, I don't know. I was saying to somebody after this I watched this episode, I was thinking to myself, I would have thought the Daniels would work with an episode that was a little bit weirder, a little bit pulpier, just considering their history, especially with everything everywhere. And then I just realized in my head they got to work in it. Their episode had the animal that farted in that one scene in Phantom Menace. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, now I totally understand why they were put in this episode.
And also carries Kenobi when he brings little Luke to.
Yes, also that, but like the absolute like slapstick nature of the Yopi farting in Jar Jar's face in the Phantom Menace, like just instantly was like, okay, yeah, no, that's why they put him the
Like, to
this
me,
episode.
like one moment that like felt like okay, I can see where the Daniels came into this, where we have like this first person shot of SM-33 and it kind of jitters. Is like there's a camera mounted on his chest. I thought that was very interesting and hypes up the stakes because it feels more unnerving. I thought that was a very interesting shot. But
Yeah.
to me, other than that one scene, as far as directing, there wasn't that much that really stuck out.
Yeah. I
This episode felt the most sound stagey to me.
it was very interesting to me. I think this is the thing I was interested to see, and I was maybe slightly disappointed by, but that's just because of how much I love Everything Everywhere. Is Everything Everywhere has that fast, energetic pace to it,
Mhm.
where a gajillion things are going on at the same time, and you really have to pay very close attention to understand what is happening at any given moment. And I thought it was interesting to see the Daniels step back and, do an episode that is more like do an episode of television that is more on the opposite scale of these wide shots, of these lingering shots. We got a lot of shots of the overall atmosphere of Ad Akron. And I thought that was an interesting contrast to Everything Everywhere. Like there were definitely shots of this episode that reminded me of a lot of like the rugged shots of Navarro we got, especially in season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
where they're just exploring the vast, or I guess that was our Arvala 7, as well in season 1 of Mandalorian. I'm thinking of the child, specifically that episode, but yeah, I'm trying to think.
I just wish this episode went a little more. It felt more of the stakes, like throughout, because other than SM-33 attacking, like I was very mellow watching this.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think the other thing for me was that we got we got this great backstory about the Troik, and I really loved like seeing how they like again the very guerrilla nature of their operations and all that kind of stuff. We didn't get as deep a dive into the Hotton, and I would have liked to see, okay, who are these people? Why do they have beef with the Troik? What's going on with them? They captured Jod, and then Jod gets uncaptured very quickly, and that's about it. And I think like that was one thing where I would have loved to just an extra minute to see, are they like how imperial are they? How like mercenary like are they? How what is the nature of these groups? They're mercenaries, but they seem to have a pretty firm grip of control on the planet, at least in its chaos.
So the daughter, her name is Hina, right?
Yeah, Hina. Yeah.
Hina will do any excuse. She'll do a stunt. She'll do a slide. She'll do a flip.
That flip at the end, I will say, was very fun. I was very interested. I love that flip at the end. It was just one of those little details. It reminded me actually of the spin that pissed so many people off at the end of the Book of Boba Fett, which I still love.
The spin?
It's in the final battle when Scad, one of the mods, just randomly he spins around and then fires, which got people upset for no reason at all, but I thought was very cool.
That one, like I'm not gonna say like it's my favorite thing ever, but I don't dislike it. And one reason I think I definitely like it a lot more.
Uh-oh. I think he cut out for all of that, buddy.
But it just the spin. I'm like, okay, he's changing direction with his blaster, but this flip just seemed like she just did it because she can.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. No. What was I gonna say? Yeah. No, there's plenty of interesting stuff with this episode. I'm very intrigued. So the directors we have left for the episodes ahead of us are episode 5, directed by Jake Schreier, director of many. I actually want to get his pictures up because I know the other project he's like going to promote very soon is Marvel's Thunderbolts, but I want to see like other past things he's done. He did Paper Towns. He did a film called Robot and Frank. He's done tons of television stuff like that. But Jake Schreier is the next episode of Skeleton Crew. After that, we have Bryce Dallas Howard.
You got frozen there. What did you say after Thunderbolts that this guy did?
He did a adaptation of the John Green Paper Towns novel.
Okay, no, not familiar. So,
and but anyway, oh, and he also did Beef. I didn't realize he did Beef. Okay, never mind. was I gonna say? I was gonna say
Beef, what
the
are we? What was this place in this product cease?
sorry, what do you say?
I said, beef, what a relief. When will this place in this product cease? You can deny it, you can doubt it. If you can tell me who said that, you're invited to the cookout.
Unfortunately, I can't. But
It's KRS-One on the song Beef.
okay, got it. What was I gonna say? But I so Jake Schreier, Bryce Dallas Howard,
Okay, no.
Lee Isaac Chung for episode 7, and I believe Watts again for 8. Um,
Lee Isaac Chung, the name sounds familiar.
he did Minari, and he also did chapter 20 of The Mandalorian: The Convert.
Okay, all right.
I think that's chapter 20. That was chapter 20. Wait, no, I don't think it was. I think that was chapter 19. Never mind. That was chapter 19. But anyway, it was the one with Elijah Kane and Dr. Persian.
See, why you mention that? Because I'm a Pershing stan.
I love that episode so much, and I'm excited to see Chung back in the show.
Yeah. I'll take any excuse to have more Pershing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Although I don't think you're gonna have a lot of that guy's brain left, unfortunately, after that fryer.
I mean, you can make him a slicer.
Yeah.
You got Pershing Lobot.
Yeah. But I'm also very excited for Bryce Dallas Howard's episode. I don't know why, like, there's part of me that is kind of convinced that we might see some familiar faces in Bryce's episode. Just because, again, I don't have any real actual proof for this. But like, I was just thinking about how, her Book of Boba Fett episode was the one based entirely around Din and the Mandalorian and his struggles after Grogu left, and also how in the marketing they've emphasized the fact they did this whole like directors roundtable thing, promo thing, and they were like, well, one of Bryce's big advantages is in addition to being a wonderful director, she has the most experience with this stuff. She has.
I mean, her dad is prolific director, so that makes absolute sense.
And even beyond that she's directed, I think now 4 episodes on the volume. I think it's she did Sanctuary, she did The Heiress, she did Return of the Mandalorian. I don't think she did she did season 3, I think. An episode in season 3. She did Gun for Hire in season 3. She did the freaking Detective Mando episode, which I love.
And like you're talking about bringing characters in, and something she's maybe interested in. She brought Bo-Katan into live action.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think like which characters. Like for me, I'll ask you this, and then I think this is the last question I think I'm gonna ask you, which is what like legacy characters, what familiar faces might you want to see in this show? For me, the answer has always been, and I think will always be for this show, Hondo. I think it just has to happen.
Okay, so is it okay if I give answer that I think is likely and one that I think will be interesting to see?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go say both of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, one that I think is very likely. I'm not gonna put money on it, but I think you could easily squeeze him in. Carson Teva.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen him already.
I mean, I know most people were probably watching last episode, which is like, is Carson Teva's gonna be? Is he gonna be?
Oh yeah, that was me. That was absolutely me. I remember the X-wing cockpit was lifting up. I'm like, that doesn't look like Carson Teva. Did they seriously put an X-wing pilot in the series and not have it be Carson or Trapper?
Now, a character that I think would be interesting, and I think enough people know, but it won't be. I think you can toe the line of like it's not overshadowing other things. Imagine if we got retribution on some of those pirates by Fennec Shan.
interesting. See, bringing Fennec in at this point in the timeline feels like it almost requires bringing Boba in.
See, I think as we see that she went after those warlords by herself.
Yeah.
Like she did that on her own volition. So
Well, she did that on behalf of the
Boba
syndicate.
Fett is too big,
Yeah.
and like you have the second command would make way more sense to me. It's something that I feel like you could theoretically fit in. Like obviously you wouldn't want to put in like Din Djarin, like, and plus the actor is like way too fucking busy.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be it's fantastic. But
I think Din and Grogu actually like are the ones that I'd honestly like. I might put my chips on a little bit. Like I'm not convinced it'll happen, but like of all of the familiar faces in this series, Din and Grogu kind of make some of the most sense, just in terms of you obviously have the mechanics
I
of those
really
characters down to a
hope
science at this point.
like them, I love this characters. I really hope they don't bring him because to me that would be a little too much. Is like trying to push everything together in this Mando verse. It's like it's
Yeah,
really
no, I can understand
some
that.
breathing room for these kids and these
Yeah,
pilots.
yeah, I don't, there are absolutely like versions of this where that doesn't happen. I like at this point, honestly, I feel like I'd probably say Din and Grogu is 40-60, 40-40 they appear, 60 they don't. I think it's slightly more likely that they don't, but I think it's still very possible that they do.
I'll give Din and Grogu maybe 15%.
All right.
I will give Fennec 20. I think that's a little more likely. And Carson Teva, I put at like 80.
Carson Teva, I'd put it a good 75. It may be 80. Fennec, I'd also like you put it a 20.
Uh-huh.
I'd say Hondo is a coin flip right now, maybe 50-55.
And did I mention they're trying to just like he would be like the last character on screen. It'd be like he's like Agatha all along. He was behind everything.
I think you did mention that in a previous week, and yeah, no, that would be. I mean, just go do. Like, I remember in Rebels, like, when Hondo got introduced, and we had those, like, there were a few of those ridiculous episodes where Ezra was being a pirate Jedi along with Hondo as Morgan and Vijago, and things were happening. And I remember just, like, kind of rolling my eyes at that because I'm like, oh, these guys getting into all their trouble. I want that eye roll level of, oh, these guys, if Hondo appears in Skeleton Crew. I want Hondo to be absolute as much of a little shit as we know he can be. I want this guy to be so naughty.
I want them to bring back his vibe from the Clone Wars because I was really disappointed when I saw him in Rebels. Not because he was there, but I didn't think it was anywhere near as magnetizing and funny as he was in Clone Wars. To me, and like he hit so hard for me in Clone Wars, and I saw him in Rebels, and it's like, what happened to you, man? You lost the juice. You lost the juice, man, in your old age.
Yeah, he kind of turned in a little bit into friendly grandpa Hondo in Rebels, which I understand. But I also understand why like people could feel a little disappointed that he lost a little bit of that bite. He became a little bit less of a jackass. In Rebels, but and that's the other thing about Hondo, which is great, which is we know he lives to the sequels because he's in the parks, which obviously take place between TLJ and Tross. So we can like Hondo is one of those great characters that you can kind of just insert in any era within reason around the Skywalker saga because you can bullshit any reason you need for him to be there. He's Hondo.
Yeah.
He's Hondo. He can do that. And he's actually a character. It's him and Afra, honestly, are the two characters that I'm shocked haven't been on screen yet. Afra a little less so because of unfortunate other reasons involving certain aspects of her identity, but Hondo is like
Emma from Pink Milk, or M.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When I have her on my channel, no, it was when I had Becca Benjamin on my channel.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I think a good person to pick to play Dr. Afra would be Karen Fukuhara. I think that would be a good pick.
Who's sorry? Who did you say?
Karen Fukuhara.
Okay, I'm looking her up. Yeah, interesting.
Played Katana in Suicide Squad. That's probably a role that you might know her from. But
yeah, no, I'm looking. Look, oh, she was in. I didn't realize she was in Visions.
Mm-hmm.
She was in The Village Bride.
She always has Lucasfilm on speed dial. If that's the case.
Yeah, she was the main character in one of the English dubs of the Vision shorts. So she already has worked with Lucasfilm. And look, I truly believe that a Dr. Afra animated show of her her bumbling, or like an animated adaptation of her comic, of her just like bumbling her way across the galaxy, being as messy as she is, being as discovering as crazy things as she does. I feel like that's just money in the bank for Lucasfilm. Like,
yeah, I don't think we could really.
Oh no, I think he's out again. But
for
you cut out again. I'm sorry.
Star Wars Lucasfilm could benefit from just doing a singular 2D animated show. And just really put the money behind it and like really get a good cast of characters. I think that would be a nice flavor for people to have. But you can do something with Dr. Afra in that sense. I think you can. I don't think you need to go baby with it. I don't think you need to go super gritty with it. I think you can toe the line just a little bit. It's like, okay, we're not quite TV for 14, but it kind of is, because there's like some blood here and there, like nothing crazy. Like someone bleeds in their head, but no one's like getting.
Again. Well, I'm gonna say he's been, unfortunately, Eric's been cutting out a little bit, but we're gonna be wrapping up this soon. As soon as it. Oh, okay, you cut out again. Sorry.
I didn't say anything. I'll wait it this time.
Okay. All right. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this sucker up right here. Eric, do you have anything else about Can't Say I Remember No Attin, which, by the way, actually I will talk about that for a second, because I did love that aspect of the episode where I figured out a little bit before Fern does that, like, oh, he doesn't remember because he's been programmed not to remember. But like that whole like conspiratorial version of this, where it's not like people just forgot about Attin. Something happened to it.
Yeah. Inside now, I think actress playing Fern had a great little moment of her crying. I think that's really good. Minor acting that like even some adults would have like issue doing. So kudos to her.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Woodsy, my prediction is Hondo is the supervisor. The chaotic energy that Hondo being the supervisor would bring is absolutely what I need in my life. Like, Screw the fact that that makes literally like that would be like the craziest reveal of all time for how Hondo is in this series. I don't care. I want that.
So the supervisor is
The,
the power broker of Star Wars.
yeah, no, that Hondo is just like playing these like mental games and societal like psychological warfare on this poor planet just for shits and giggles, most likely.
Yeah.
Like that would be very funny. That would just be hilarious.
Who is it? Maul went from getting his legs chopped off, being a warlord, almost dying again. He becomes like a leader of a gang organization. Why not Hondo?
Yeah, no.
Why can't Hondo have his big arm where he can fall again?
Hondo is just like desperately trying to get into the galactic history books by any means possible. Okay, so now I'm gonna do. It's beautiful. God, how Hondo has not appeared in live action Star Wars again is a complete and utter mystery to me. But that's my thing. Is like they're bringing Rada in. They're bringing freaking Kelleran back into the Mandalorian. They're putting Darth Plagueis in the Acolyte. They could put Hondo in. I think it's just a matter of time. But
think about this. For me, in a world where Rada the Hutt has been in twice the amount of movies than Hondo ever has, even touched movies.
More than twice, because it's gonna be
it's 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 that Rada to Hondo is absolutely insane.
That kind of like stunning of this character that was once known as Stinky feels like that meme of like Venom like dunking over Spider-Man.
Yeah, I will say I think the announcement happened. The announcement of Jeremy Allen White happened between 3 and 4, so I haven't like talked about it on an episode of In a Galaxy or on a stream. Just generally speaking, I will just say I am totally here for that. I am 100% here for Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt grown up in The Mandalorian and Grogu. I think that is a crazy Mad Lib of a sentence, and I love it. I really do. I think it is. I posted a meme to Blue Sky when I found out about it, which was a picture of John and Dave on some set of some Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett something, and Dave saying, "Okay, so John, hear me out. When I first got to Lucasfilm, George wanted Jabba the Hutt to have a son, and you were okay with that, John? It's George. I had to be okay with that. Anyway, I want him in this movie. What?" Which is about how I imagined that conversation went. Wait, Jabba the Hutt has a son? Since when?
Mm-hmm.
And the absolute like crazy energy of first Star Wars back in theaters since an admittedly divisive film 5 years ago. We're putting a Huttlet in this is just incredible.
Once again, if we didn't have Dave, none of this would be happening.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch this his ascent to higher levels at Lucasfilm and getting all these characters in live action that he's been stewarding in animation over these years. I think we're gonna wrap this stream up now. Eric, where can we find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Aftershows, where I have multiple interviews / sit-downs with the likes of Milky, Pete, Chris Lyons, I've had Emma and Brian from Pink Milk. I even had Jerry from Bondi Cast, where he says, quote, "This is the Pornhub generation writing Star Wars," which is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. I'm glad it's on my channel.
Yeah.
All right. A conspiracy theory iceberg that I worked very hard on. So hope you enjoy that.
Yeah.
And of course, watch my beautiful white boy Eli and his channel and all the nerdy Star Wars goodness. Stay tuned with him.
All right, absolutely. Thanks so much, Eric. I'll see you soon. Thanks so much. So I'm gonna wrap up the stream very quickly. I do just want to say, if anybody wants to hop in just for a few minutes at the end of this, go to the StreamYard link. But I wanted to make some announcements because this is the last In a Galaxy live stream of the year of 2024. There aren't going to be any more live streams for the remainder of this month. But what about the other Skeleton Crews? You probably are thinking. Well, of course, those Skeleton Crews are releasing on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, respectively. And I'm not going to live stream on those days. You bet I will be watching Skeleton Crew on those days, but I will not be live streaming. I've decided that the next Skeleton Crew after show will be a giant live stream on, let's check the date on that. I think it might be on the 7th, on January 7th, 2025. Will be the next In a Galaxy after show live stream, and I'm planning on doing. I think it's mostly going to be, about the 7th episode, but I plan to also share some thoughts from episodes 5 and 6 as well. So it's going to be one like giant live stream. So I'm very excited for that. Discussing episodes 5, 6, and 7. I'm trying to think. Star Wars Galaxy. I'll give an update on that. Our episode will be coming out this week for That Would Be Me, second episode of Andor. I just finished editing it a few hours ago, and it will be out on Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, like normal. We are working on the recording date of episode 3, Reckoning, episode 159 of In a Galaxy, with special guest Goose from Triad of the Force. That will be released. I'm almost certain it will be released next Friday. Epic Confrontations is unfortunately, just due to scheduling difficulties, done for the year, but we will be back with some great new matches in January. I'm very excited for the future of Star Wars in a Galaxy Epic Confrontations. That's all I'm going to say about that. As you might have seen, due to scheduling difficulties, due to Jacob's shifting schedule, we have decided to push the In a Galaxy live stream, the 5-year stream that would have taken place in just a few days, to late January. Lots going to be happening on January for Star Wars in a Galaxy. I don't know if you could tell. We're going to be doing more Andor, more guests, more Epic Confrontations. Our live stream January is going to be a good month for Star Wars in a Galaxy. That's all I can say. I'm still trying to consider. Obviously, we will do these after shows for the rest of Skeleton Crew. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to do them for any other shows. That a lot of that is going to depend on whether a good friend of the show, Jared the Dark Jedi, decides to do them for Andor season 2, which is the next Star Wars show, or future Star Wars shows when they come out in the future. But if he doesn't, I might do them for other shows. I might not. I haven't thought a lot about that for Andor specifically. But yeah, no, I really like this episode. I think this show is delightful. And I'm glad that we have it right now. I think there's nothing else. That's going to be it for this stream, right? This after show. I'll see you in 2025. May the Force be with you always.